Veterans USA, 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
On Saturday, March 19th, the University Air Center will host the Gator Fly-In and Armed Services Appreciation Day. All branches of the military are invited, alongside civilian and law enforcement pilots, to display their aircraft. Vote for the best civilian aircraft and People's Choice Aircraft Contest. Admission and parking are free. There will be helicopter and airplane rides, food trucks, and live music for all to enjoy. Again, that's March 19th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the University Air Center, where you can fly easy from Gainesville nonstop to Atlanta on Delta Airlines, Charlotte, Dallas, and Miami on American Airlines. Enjoy the fly-in, and remember, you can easily fly in and out to 343 destinations around the world in one stop on American and Delta Airlines. Enjoy the Gator Fly-In, and remember to fly easy, fly Gainesville.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Tuesday, Carol Ann Baldwin will not be in studio today. We'll have a best of In the Garden with Carol Ann Baldwin, so got that to look forward to. Plus, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Auto with auto repair with personal care will be here at 10 o'clock. But right now we have Galen Unall from Life South on the phone, brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden. We'd like to thank Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. They're located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street. They offer skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If you have any questions how they're handling the pandemic, give them a call at 352-854-6262. Of course, we'd like to thank family-owned and operated Penn Flooring, serving Marion County for over 30-plus years. They owe every bit of their success to their unrivaled customer service. They are knowledgeable in all types of flooring applications, commercial and residential. Come in and see their showroom at 1201 Southwest 17th Street in Ocala, or give them a call at 352-351-3420. And, of course, justship.net. About to open up a new location at 811 North Magnolia. It'll be a drop-off location as well. But you can still set an appointment and get them to come pick your item up, and they'll package it up. They'll ship it out, saving you the aggravation of having to stand in line at the post office or the UPS store. So they'll save you time and money. And as we know, time is money, so they'll save you money on top of money. That's justship.net. Galen, you know, Georgia, you heard during the break that people are talking about gas. I guess that's the prevailing conversation, but I don't know that through conversation anything's going to happen. I mean, Jen Psaki said, like we talked about in the last segment, Jen Psaki said, hey, if you don't like the prices of oil, find an alternative fuel source vehicle, and that's what we want you to do anyway.
Yeah, again, and by the way, an alternatively priced vehicle is about $20,000 more.
Oh, yeah.
They don't make economy ones, right? So, again, this just hits the middle class extremely hard. That's who this targets, and that's who's going to get hit. There's no doubt about it.
They're just, and by the way, I said on this radio show publicly, if you stop buying oil from Russia, I stop complaining about gas prices, because at least there's a reason gas prices are skyrocketing in my mind.
Leadership. If there wasn't all of this blatant hypocrisy, right? And again, you cannot win a war against a place like Russia, who's moralist, right, with their army, with a hashtag. You're not going to embarrass them into stopping.
No,
they're not.
No.
It's going to take armor. It's going to take weapons, and it's going to take, men, I guess, and women who are willing to die for the Ukrainian people.
Yeah, that's what it's going to take. Let's switch gears, talk a little sports, try to lighten this up a little bit. Over the weekend, Coach Mike Krzyzewski, the Olympic gold medalist winning coach, had his last game at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The Brethren were not happy with the outcome, though, although I was ecstatic with it, as The hated Carolina Tar Heels spoiled Coach K's last home game, kind of like Ron Zook's Gators spoiled Bobby Bowden, when the field got named after Bobby Bowden.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Same exact way.
That's the only comparison.
Same exact way.
Yeah.
The Carolina Tar Heels looked really impressive against Duke over the weekend. I mean, it's shaping up like it's going to be Gonzaga and then the rest of them, it looks like, in the NCAA.
Well, I agree. I think North Carolina is getting bigger or better. They're very young. And it also hurts Florida State because their best win was against Duke.
Right.
On the, at home. So that hurt them. We'll see how if they can get into the tournament. They had a big win this weekend. But the Coach K speech was probably more entertaining as a Tar Heel fan than the game.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was. I loved what I loved about Coach K. And look, I'm a critic of Coach K because I'm a Carolina fan, and by proxy, you don't like Duke. You just don't. But the reason the man deserves respect and deserves all the accolades he gets was summed up in about a 15 to 20 second impromptu thing he did before all the festivities after the game got started. And that's when his family was walking with him, and they were sitting down in the chairs on the court and everything. And he walked over to the microphone, unscripted, and go, "Folks, I know I'm not supposed to be talking right now. There's a lot that's going to happen, and I appreciate every bit of what y'all are doing and all of you fans. But what we just did on that floor was unacceptable. It's just not acceptable. The way we played, the way we ended this was unacceptable. And I just wanted you to know that I apologize to you for the unacceptable way we ended that basketball game." And then he turned around and walked there and sat down. That's strong right there, brother. That's strong.
Yeah, but at the same time, as a Carolina fan,
you loved every minute of it. You loved every minute of it.
I respected the heck out of it. And by the way, there's a reason why that guy's been successful for, 3 decades?
4 decades.
He was successful at Army. 4 decades, yeah.
4 decades. He was at Army in the early – he got to Duke in 83, 84, something like that. So he was successful at Army before. And by the way, he was a Bobby Knight protege, but he, unlike Bobby Knight, understood you had to morph and you had to change as the game and society morphed and changed.
Well, you have to be able to relate to players no matter who you are. I've heard this many times. The reason that Bobby Knight got away with that is because he loved his players and his players knew that, right? I mean, John Wooden in today's game would have been just as great.
Oh, yeah.
Because he developed deep relationships with his guy. Look what he did with Kareem. I think that's remarkable.
And Coach K had that kind of and you could see Coach K had that kind of effect on his players with the massive amounts of players that came back for this night.
Oh, absolutely. Because again, he's a leader, and coaching matters, and that's what leadership is. What he did, he's like, look, I get it. This is a night about me, but tonight our team as a whole didn't play well, and I'm going to own that. And that's leadership. That's leadership. And by the way, everybody in that building respected it. And we almost expected it, right? You almost expected Coach K to say something like that because losing is never okay for him.
No. But, it did. It was the last time I was smiled that big over watching girls cry and sitting in bleachers was the night Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump. That's the last time I was I smiled that big.
That's a little different, but yeah, when you think about what Duke basketball was before Coach K.
You mean it wasn't?
And now, right? I mean, there is no Cameron Indoor without.
People forget the biggest rivalry in the ACC up until Mike Krzyzewski got to Duke. The biggest rivalry was Carolina and State. It wasn't Carolina and Duke.
That's correct.
It was Carolina and State
correct.
From the 1930s to the 1970s. Carolina and Carolina State was the big game. That was the game that mattered, that the country actually paid attention to and everything in the ACC was those two. Nobody knew who Duke was.
And that's why, if you're going to ever have the argument, who's a better coach, Dean Smith or Coach K?
Mike Krzyzewski.
I will always say
Mike Krzyzewski.
I would always say Coach K, because Coach K built something. And by the way, that's also why I believe that Bobby Bowden's one of the greatest coaches in the history of the game.
I could make an argument Bobby Bowden's the greatest coach in the college football history.
Yeah, you can, because he took over and created something out of absolutely nothing, and competed and made the state of Florida the best football state in the country in college for a decade.
And, I got a soft spot.
Because he made Miami better. He made Spurrier better.
Oh, yeah.
Spurrier was great because of what Bobby was doing.
Well, I got a soft spot for coaches that jump in and start a program and, end up being very successful at it, being that the first varsity program was 1984, and then Georgia Southern played in 6 straight national championships after starting the program one year before. I got by the way, thanks Vince Dooley's ego, because without Vince Dooley's ego, Russell would have stayed at Georgia, and Georgia would have won a national championship. They wouldn't have been 41 years apart. They'd have won more before 41 years.
But look at all the people that try to create a Division I football team and fail, or try to go in. Well, I'm going to build something new here. I'm going to create a dynasty and fail.
Which is why I was surprised
Scott. Who they are.
Which is why I was surprised Scott Frost left. I know why he left, because Nebraska's his alma mater and everything. But Scott Frost had built something at UCF that reminded me of the late '70s at Florida State.
No, because unlike Florida State before Bobby Bowden, UCF had tasted some success with Dante Culpepper. And Chan Gailey and some of the other things they had done. So they had tasted success, unlike Bobby. Unlike Florida State.
Florida State had tasted success. Ask Burt Reynolds and Lee Corso.
Yeah, well, there you go. Right.
When your claim to fame in football is Coach Corso and a movie actor who did Playgirl, you probably didn't have much of a football program.
I can't believe did you just disregard Burt Reynolds?
Just telling you, movie actor who did Playgirl.
You're going to lose your right to be a man from the South.
No, I didn't say anything. I just said when that's your claim to fame is a
disparaging.
football program.
You're not allowed to disparage him or Daisy Duke.
I was disparaging Florida State football.
If you were to put like a Mount Rushmore of the South, Burt Reynolds is on there.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know.
Think about it.
Well, first off is
fried chicken.
First off, General Lee.
No, you can't.
General Lee's first.
It would be removed within 5 years.
But he's still first. General Lee's first. Fried chicken and collard greens is second.
Yeah.
Fried chicken and collard greens are on the map. They're on the Mount Rushmore.
By the way,
country music's on the Mount Rushmore.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I think you'll appreciate this. I got in an argument with somebody just yesterday. Boiled peanuts. That's not a Southern thing as much as it is a Florida, Georgia thing, is it?
I don't know. When I lived in North Carolina, you could always find boiled peanuts on the side of the road being cooked. South Carolina, you can find it. Alabama, they eat boiled peanuts.
No, I don't ever see them in Alabama.
You know what though? Here's the fourth thing on Mount Rushmore.
And by the way, if you're buying them in a store in a can, that doesn't count.
Here's the fourth thing on Mount Rushmore. It ain't even close. It's what happened on the 8th day of creation. God created 6 days. He created the heavens and the earth. On the 7th day, he rested. And on the 8th day, God made sweet tea.
Sweet tea, that's a good call. That's a very, very good call. Sweet tea would probably be number one. I'm going to have to think about my Mount Rushmore of the South.
Sweet tea's got to be there. It's one of the 4.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that one. I don't think anybody from the South is going to disagree.
Look,
you can not even like sweet tea. First of all, you're not a human being.
Well, that's a good point.
But you can still go, yeah, it belongs there.
There's a local band called the Kinchafoonee Cowboys, named after the Kinchafoonee River in Georgia. who, they've been playing for 25 years, but just college bars and honky tonks and all around Georgia. You know what I mean? They're good guys, but never going to get a Nashville contract. But they have an original song called "On the Eighth Day, God Made Sweet Tea."
That's pretty good. He had me at the title.
Yeah, they had me right away.
Yeah, that is purely a Southern thing.
Now, the question is, there's two types of sweet teas. There's the lightly sweetened sweet tea, and then there's the Cairo syrup sweet tea. Which one do you prefer?
Well, at this point in my life, I'm an unsweet guy. But I mean, if you're going to go with like a food chain, like a restaurant chain that has I used to judge restaurants on whether or not they had good tea.
Oh, well, it's not even a question who has the
Like
best sweet tea.
My mom, when we would sit down, we would all look at my mom and say, "Should we order the tea here?"
And she would know.
She would be able to.
Yeah.
She would know by walking in.
Right.
My mom could make some. She could. She hasn't made sun tea in a long time, but it would take like 12 hours to brew. Sitting out on the pool deck.
Now
That's the greatest tea the planet's ever made.
I may be a little biased because I've had it so much
Before
in my
I married
lifetime.
my wife, this is a true story. Before I married my wife, I said, "Well, I'm gonna need to have to taste your sweet tea."
Of course.
And she completely understood that. That's a good prerequisite. Because if you can't make sweet tea, you can't make biscuits. You know what I'm saying? You can't make collards. You can't make anything. You can't even make rice at that point.
You can't. You
gotta.
It's the basis for everything. It's the basis for everything. And the thing is,
I will tell you, my kids can make some sweet tea.
The best restaurant sweet tea, and I may be biased, but the best restaurant sweet tea, in my estimation, Waffle House.
Waffle House's sweet tea is great.
Strong.
Is it the best?
It's a good sweet tea.
Here, if you're going to go with chain, that's hard to argue. But when you go into a barbecue place, it doesn't really have a restaurant. It's just got a screen, right? And you sit down, and the dude next to you's in overalls, and the guy on the other side's in a suit, and you're just as happy as that's the best sweet tea on the planet. You give me some good sweet tea with some good pulled pork.
But the thing is, when they bring the sweet tea to you, if you drink the sweet tea and it's not good sweet tea, don't order, get up and leave.
No, that's fair. That's absolutely
right.
The
barbecue's not going to be good either. The barbecue's not going to be good either. Leave.
But at the same time, the place is empty.
Probably.
And by the way, and if it's like, oh, it's just stale, well, then you didn't make it. That means you're not.
And Galen's talking about
the people are drinking.
Galen's talking about the barbecue place that it's just a block building with some screens on the windows.
Block. Sometimes it's like an RV that they've just kind of grown out of.
Well, that is a good point too. That is a good point too. I saw a guy one time in Nahunta, Georgia. Nahunta, right before you get to Ludowici on 301 going north.
I don't know where that one is. All right.
Nahunta is just south of Ludowici on 301, about 45 minutes north of the state line. There was a guy in Nahunta that had 2 picnic tables out there, a smoker going, and the building he used to hold his cash and his refrigerator and everything was a pop-up camper. And it was good. It was good groceries. Good groceries.
What's wrong with that? But again, sweet tea barbecue is going to replace fried chicken.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. But then how do you replace Harlan Sanders?
Oh, you can figure it out. You can figure
Harlan
out.
Sanders is a Southern institution.
Yeah, but he's all over the world now. I'm putting barbecue on there, and that way we don't have to argue whether it's from Carolina or Georgia
Alabama,
or Mississippi. Or Alabama.
Yeah.
It's just a smoker.
And by the way,
right?
Texas was in the CSA, so we count them as the South.
You're darn right. We go all the way over to Arkansas and Oklahoma.
Count them.
We pull them in too.
Count them.
But by the way, I've been to Lockhart, Texas, and you can't beat Lockhart, Texas. But that's brisket. That's beef barbecue. If I'm going pulled pork, I want that Carolina sauce. If I want ribs, I'm going to the Tennessee. I'm going to Nashville. So I'm just going to say barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue needs to be on the Mount Rushmore. Barbecue needs to be on there.
Barbecue and sweet tea.
Sweet
See, we're
tea.
getting somewhere here.
Those
We're
two
getting
had
somewhere
those
now.
two had to be. Country music has to be on there.
Well, I guess, yeah, because it is such a southern thing.
You know, it started with bluegrass,
yeah.
and now what it is, it got to be on there. And
I don't think.
how do you
leave?
How do you leave when you think the Deep South? I mean, how do you leave Dolly Parton off the Mount Rushmore?
Well, maybe she is your country music.
Maybe she's my
icon.
country music icon that I use for country music. It's a very good point.
Right.
It's a very
she
good point.
represents it because she's been doing it for what, 50 years?
Very good. You know, though,
years?
in fairness, for the history of the South and all, the civil rights struggle has to go on Mount Rushmore.
Well, and then you do put the Martin Luther King because that represents everything that we've gone through.
Right. That's a pretty good Mount Rushmore right there.
That's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
I think we could all get behind that. I mean, the sweet tea, the barbecue, and by the way, you put those three things on there, we're solving a lot of problems.
100%.
You know, there's
you put some people discussing stuff over some barbecue and sweet tea. You can solve a bunch of issues.
I have said on this program multiple times, you give me ices, you give I don't care how upset you are, you give everybody in the room an icy, you're in a better mood.
100%.
We could talk. I could solve the Major League Baseball negotiations.
And we're talking Coca-Cola ices. They don't even have to be berry ices or anything. Just Coca-Cola ices.
We're going to go with banana.
Oh, they are very good.
Or the banana. When you can find it, I'll take the whole machine, sir. I mean, you get that cup with an icy. Come on, icy could cure cancer.
Well, it can.
Don't try that
agree.
at home.
All right, we got about 3 minutes. We got to switch gears again.
I'm curious if anybody else has any. So I know you always get these texts all day long.
Yeah.
I'm curious if we're missing
Deep South, Mount Rushmore. Go ahead, text them to me or send me an email. Tom
pretty good.
Tom at WOCA.com. That is pretty good.
Pretty good, Tom.
That is pretty good.
That's a respectable list right there.
That is. Let's talk about something that is disrespectful, and I think it's the NFL being disingenuous. You brought this on yourself, NFL, by now you're in cahoots with the gambling agencies. Calvin Ridley suspended, and justly so, by the way. I don't think any player should gamble on sports. So Calvin Ridley suspended a year by the NFL for gambling when he was away from the team for mental health issues. He was gambling. He was gambling on in 2021. The NFL said there's no evidence that he had any inside information or anything. He was just gambling, and it sends a bad precedent, so they suspended him. But you're in bed with the gambling industry now, NFL. Isn't this a little disingenuous, Galen?
No, it's a lot disingenuous. A, and B, if you think he was only doing it when he was away from the team,
100%.
You are crazy.
And if you think he's the only one doing it, you're crazy.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't even close. This isn't even close to being realized yet. Because now that you've suspended him, he's going to come out and be pretty vocal about what he did. And this is the tip of the iceberg, and this will be the NFL. And again, the NFL is in bed with a lot of its outlets. Right? You will not hear this talked about on NFL Network. It will not be a discussion for more than 2 or 3 days because they'll say you can talk about it for a little bit so that you can act like
Espen spent a minute 20 on it. A minute 20.
They can't. Nobody's looking at this. No one, because.
But the NFL made this bed, didn't they? The NFL made this bed, and it's even magnified more now. Now what Brian Flores says about, hey, I was paid to throw games. I was offered money to throw games for draft picks. Well, are we sure it was just to throw games for draft picks, or was it for gambling purposes? Who knows?
Yeah. Again, this is a much, much bigger issue. This is not going away.
They've sold out to DraftKings and people like that 100%, and Caesars with all the commercials and everything. They're in bed with gambling. So I understand why you can't gamble if you're a player. I understand why the NFL says that. but it's more do what I say, not what I do.
Well, again, this isn't going away.
Galen,
Going away.
Speaking of not going away, is the shortage of blood. So we need to know where to go give blood. Where's the blood mobile?
Yeah, we and just to realize that, we started the conversation with the traffic. We've had more traumas in the last 2 months than ever. It's the highest 2 months of traumas from the hospitals that we supply ever, and that's collectively. So a lot of accidents, a lot of traffic. So please, that means there's a lot of blood usage. So please just get out there, give the gift of life, and donate blood. Today we're going to be out in the Villages. So come see us there. But as always, we're right on the boulevard, 1607 East Silver Springs Boulevard. Give the gift of life today, lifesouth.org.
Talk to you tomorrow, Galen.
Bye, all.
News with Lance Pry.
The war in Ukraine has entered day 13. President Zelensky was on ABC News describing Ukrainian courage and resolve.
I'm sure that Ukrainians are prepared to stand against Russia for their entire lives. Even the cities that were occupied by a Russian military, they have seen the response and feedback from ordinary people. These ordinary people didn't have machine guns. This courage is something that is unprecedented, and Russian soldiers don't even have that courage.
Some 60,000 Sydney, Australia residents were under evacuation orders as heavy rains and flash flooding swamped much of Australia's largest city on Tuesday. The severe weather has lashed Australia's east coast since late last month and is blamed for at least 20 deaths. Daylight savings time kicks in this weekend. USA Radio News.
Hi, it's Rick. I'm at the Smith home. Where's Donnie?
Leaves and autumn bookings pile up for Rick's gutter cleaning service.
He's out? Come on.
He needs help before his bottom line gets clogged.
Okay, well, what about Cristiano? We still got 6 houses today.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Gunsmoke. Fort Laramie. Have gun. Will travel.
Frontier Gentleman.
Luke Slaughter of Tombstone.
The greatest radio shows of all time. Classic radio theater with Wyatt Cox. On many of these radio stations or online. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. USDA has released the peanut stocks and processing for the month of January, the 6th month of the marketing year. Peanut stocks and commercial storage right now at 4.96 billion pounds. That is compared to 4.14 last year, are up 19.8%. This includes a 4.25 billion pound farmer stock, which is up 24%. So an oversupply of peanuts right now until they can get them moved out of the market. Shell peanuts on hand, though, are at 682 million pounds. That's up only 0.3%. So the shellers are holding them and getting ready to sell. Roasted stocks were 26.7 million pounds. That's up 1.1% from January. The shell stocks, they said mostly is 513 million pounds, are showing down on runners 1.6%. Oil stocks totaled 27.4 million, and oil stocks surprisingly were up 29.4%. But in January, the shellers milled 494 million pounds. That's 77% more than last year, as those shelling plants are operating. On the commercial side, 199 million pounds of shell peanuts went into product. That's up 1.5%.
Shrimp, grouper, stone crab, oysters, clams. That's just a sample of the great seafood that Florida's Gulf Coast is famous for. Fresh, wholesome seafood caught by fishing families that for generations have taken great pride in their work. No gathering is complete without delicious Florida Gulf seafood fresh from the docks. Remember, when shopping or dining out, ask for fresh from Florida seafood. That helps our state's fishermen and our local economies.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
Hello, variable cloudiness today with widely scattered thunderstorms this afternoon. High 84 to 87. Thunderstorms this afternoon will continue through late tonight with a low of 67 to 69. Then Wednesday we'll have a mix of clouds and sunshine. High on Wednesday 87 to 89. Thunderstorm in 1 or 2 spots on Thursday. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Join Gary and Don Crawford of Pinnacle Retirement Advisors for Retirement with Pinnacle, Saturday mornings at 9 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Don't miss Retirement with Pinnacle with Gary and Don Crawford, Saturday mornings at 9. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
This hour of Ocala Talks is brought to you in part by Blockers Furniture. Go see all their specials at blockersfurniture.com. This is a best of Carol Ann Baldwin, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin in the garden. We will not be taking phone calls as this is a best of in the garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. We will not take phone calls. Right. It's Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. She's with us every Tuesday. Carol Ann, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. I'm back.
You are back. you are back. You're with us.
I am with us. Yep, live and in person, not Memorex.
It's summertime, Carol Ann.
No, it isn't. It's still February ugly.
It's going to be 88 degrees Friday, Carol Ann.
Yeah.
It's almost 90. It's Florida. It's summertime.
It's spring. But it'll only be 90 for 45 minutes.
It does take a while to warm back up every morning.
Yeah, because the overnight lows have been in the low. Upper 40s, low 50s.
This morning I got in my car, and it's got the little.
Yeah, the thermometer. Yeah.
And I put it at a 5 degree.
Okay. Yeah, variation. Right.
And when I got out there this morning, I went and as I walked out, I was like, my wife says, "Where's your tea glass?"
Right, for having your
and I'd left it in the car overnight, so I had to go outside to get it about 30 minutes before I left for work. And I walked outside and what I have on, and I went, it's a little chilly.
A little cool, yeah.
So I'll crank the car. So I cranked the car and got it. It said it's 52 degrees. Yeah. And so, even when the sun comes up and all, it's probably, what is it now? Probably 70 degrees, 60-something degrees.
Let's see, we'll bring that up there. It was 59 at 10 minutes to 8. It's 69 now.
Yeah.
69. Going to 85.